Testing. All right, we are back. Back with another video. I am wearing this gray jacket right now. Well, I actually wouldn't wear it normally because now it's hot as mess. Like, you know that game? No, I'm Not Human. Like, you know that game? In that game, the premise is that the sun is so hot that if you leave the windows open, it will like burn you or whatever. Or if you go outside, it'll burn you. That's what it's like. So I have to close my shades in the morning and wait for the sun to pass. I have to just sit there and just sit there in the heat and just all the sweat coming down and whatnot. But I actually have an AC unit, but I'm trying to save money. I don't know how much it actually cost me. I've never used it. I haven't used it since I got here. For this week, I have a decent amount of talking points. I believe there is actually more I want to say, but it's fine. It's fine. But first, once again, we have the red pen. We'll go through the list. You didn't see that? We'll go through the list, say what's up, what's new, and yada yada. So, let me catch my breath. This week, I guess before we get into this, I'll just simply talk about my week. We've had a new development. There is a new distraction in my life. Something that's interrupting operations. We need to really lock down on this. Fortunately, it appears that as I've lived here and as I've developed some type of discipline and all these things, I can actually return to myself. And that's a very good, important quality. My hair is a mess. I know it is. But it's also like, that the other hairstyle that I don't like, I might roll my sleeves a bit. I don't know. But that other hairstyle, the thing about it, I don't like it. It's kind of in the way. It's like large, stuff like that. I like this hairstyle. But this hairstyle requires maintenance. And I don't have the time. I don't have 2 to 4 hours of my day to spend on this. So I will just leave it how it is. If it's still like decently in form and stuff like that, that's fine. That's all it needs. I'm not gonna look too hard. Well, I am. I'm gonna nose this. People will probably nose it too, but it's fine. I'm a warrior. I'm focused on my craft. I'm disciplined. But speaking of discipline, here's the first point. Mercedes is gone. Now I said Mercedes is gone. She's not gone, but she's not gone, but the distraction, no offense to her, that distraction is out of the way. We're full focus on ourselves. And actually, I've been like just stretching to the sky. I've been so much peace. Like, we get to return. We get to really lock down on these things. We get to do all these things, have the time, whatever. Especially since I've gone back to school, my time is even more limited. In which I don't think I've written this down. I might have. But like I don't want to go to the school anymore. It's a great school. It's nice for meeting international kids and stuff like that, especially kids my age. But it's like 5 to 6 hours out of my day. I can't. Might even be close to 7. Let me think. If I think about it. Oh, hell no. No, 6 hours. It's like I leave at 12 and I come back at 6. That's atrocious. And then on top of that, I need a job. Yeah. So Mercedes is gone. But she's not gone. But we've simply just returned to our life. No hour-long calls and whatnot. So the next point, what did I say? New shorts and learning. Oh, yes. So if you're keeping up with this series at this time, no one is. But if you're keeping up, you may have noticed that I've recently started to produce shorts. Now, I want to do it every day. Hasn't happened. I want to do it every other day. We could try. We probably try. We could probably make it happen. A new short like every other day. But this is helpful. But let me just calm down. This is helpful because it will allow me to look back after all these years have passed. I can look back on these shorts and be like, oh yes, this was this and this was that nugget. Because I'm sure as you've seen, these videos are like an hour long. Who's watching that? Not me. So it's helpful to make these shorts. I said new shorts and learning. The learning part is that what I've begun to do is that after every short, I will look at it and think, what's one thing I could change? Just one. And then for the next short, I will implement that change. I'll implement the change. So, and of course, another thing I've been trying to do is use AI, which I believe is a talking point later. I'll use AI to try and hasten these processes. And let me grab my water. Speed up these processes to of course make these things go by faster and whatnot. So that's that. Now, I do have like a history of making shorts. I know like keyframes. I know very basic stuff. I know like, well, I'll just have my early videos do the talking. Be a display of my skills. But that's essentially it. Great. I think I picked the wrong time of the day to record. I can't do the morning. I can. I don't record in the morning because of course the sun is just absolutely beaming in. I have to close these curtains. And then you'll just see like my shadow. Like if I wasn't already black enough. But but in like this time of day, it's 12 o'clock right now, 12 p.m. For some reason, and no one told me this when I moved here, there's always helicopters, and I don't know why. I really need to look into it. But there's always a helicopter, like every 10 seconds or something. It's insane. But then if I choose like later in the day to record, the sun is over there. And as if the sun was already beaming over here, reflecting all this, so you just see this white space. There is actually a white building right there. And what the sun will do is it will shine its light to there, and that white building will reflect its light to me. So then I just look like all holy in a mess. Anyways. So that's that. Now, the next point is proper quality and living up to personal standards. And this was something I discovered in the gym. If I could recall what happened. I believe it was Wednesday. Wednesday is like an upper body day. Yeah. But I believe it was Wednesday. I just had a really bad workout. I can't recall exactly what happened. But I can tell you the lesson. And as you know, the gym has unintentionally been a place where what you do in the gym is how you live your life. I guess. I said I guess. That's something I'm trying to not say. But as I was doing the reps, I was working out. I realized that I was kind of just going through the motions. I think I was like tired or exhausted or something. Probably tired. I've learned how to like drag myself up from bed and whatever. And I've learned how to go to the gym even though I really don't want to. Today's an exception. But like I think on Wednesday I actually woke up like 5 minutes before I had to leave for the gym. I like rushed out and stuff like that. Yeah. But I noticed that I was kind of just going through these movements, and I didn't exactly appreciate that. And it's the same with my new data analysis, business intelligence analysis pathway. But with any skill I learn, I even apply this to, especially to learning Japanese. These days, I think what I really want to do is focus on quality. I smell a lovely smell in my apartment. But it's doing things with proper quality. It's quality first, speed later. Do it right, and then do it faster. That can apply to, I guess, well, to learning and work, your craft, the gym, whatever. So that's something I've kind of been adopting. I know this is like something I should have learned like during childhood. It's something I remember my dad would like. He'd like try and teach. It's like we'd have chores, but we'd have to do the chores. He's like, you do a job right, but it was never like strictly enforced. So, and then I also have living up to personal standards. And I believe this also went back to the gym. I can't remember exactly once again, but I think what happened was I didn't feel like doing like a workout or something. I didn't feel like doing it properly. I didn't feel like doing a lot. And I think the way I want to start living my life, it will have to be slowly incorporated, is that I need to look at myself, be like, okay, who do I want to be? What type of man do I want to be? And you take those values, you take those principles, and you basically let that define you. I know this sounds like very like 1 2, like binary. Okay, well binary 0 1, but I know it sounds simple, but I mean to say that I want to apply or stick to my personal standards, my code, my whatever, no matter what happens. Right. Now I remember. So you're tired, you're in the gym, you're already weak, you're just like, eh. This also goes in with the quality. Like, especially, we'll bring up front squats. I did front squats 2 days ago. Front squats are weird for me because, in fact, the quadriceps are weird. A weird muscle to train. Because it's like, you need to go like heavy, but you also need like, it's like endurance muscle. So you kind of need to like more reps. You can never really just tear it. But I'm doing front squats, and already I'm going light because I was tired, was exhausted. I dragged myself to the gym once again. It's like, okay, I'm doing the front squats, and I get to a point where like, okay, I'm just doing these movements. Let me actually try and do the front squat. It's like I just need to do one. Just do one properly. And as I was doing this, I was actually not while I was doing the front squats. Sorry. But after I did the front squats, I was genuinely about to leave, just go home. I didn't do all my isolation exercises. But I was about to go home, but I decided, you know what? I know I'm about to go home, but let me just try and at least do one thing. Just one thing. And I decided to do a core workout. So I did let's go, landmine rotations. Yes. I decided to do some landmine rotations, which I haven't done in a while. And of course, I was all exhausted. My body was like worn. I was like, ah. But once again, I had to stop and just think, okay, I'm kind of weak right now, but let me at least do this properly. And as I was doing that, I was reminded of the thing Bruce Lee said, something about not fearing the man that does 1,000 kicks once, but fearing the man that does one kick 1,000 times, like that. So, this is me basically saying I've learned how to be more intentional and quality focused with my my work and eventually everything I do. So that's pretty much that. Now, the next point, data analysis progression. So we've actually uploaded our first spreadsheet, our first work. It wasn't much, but we have it on LinkedIn and X. And I believe in the future we'll do other platforms and stuff like that. But we had one down. It took like 2 days to do it. I'm actually in the middle of the next spreadsheet, which to be honest, I've been somewhat lacking. But today it's a weekend, so no sleep. It's funny. It's yesterday, last night, I was like, yeah, we're gonna go home. We're gonna get this work done. No sleep. And I fell asleep. Like I knew it was funny because I've gotten used to this. There's a certain point where you're like so tired. Not tired. You could say tired. Drained, whatever. But like you could also push through. But it was like I knew that if I lay down here, I'm gonna sleep. I'm not just gonna sleep for 2 hours or something. I'm gonna sleep a while. I think it was just like a full 8 hours of sleep. So it was like I could either go to sleep, I could either lay down and know I'm gonna go to sleep, like really go to sleep, or I could push through. I lay down, all of a sudden it's 4:55 in the morning, the sun's coming out. So that's great. But I deviated. We have some progress with the data analysis, the business intelligence analysis pathway. I was actually thinking of adding something new where I would give myself like a daily business question or query or whatever and try and answer it and whatnot. It's also important for me. I haven't really done this yet, but I need to look at, I guess, the competition, the other people uploading their work and whatnot. I actually saw this one guy. I was disappointed, not gonna lie, because he is like a data analysis. I followed him months ago, like many months ago. And if you look at his page, you'll see like he's got this certificate and all this stuff. This is on Next, by the way. But if you actually look at his page and you look at all his posts, it's like a total of like 10 posts. Half of them show like a spreadsheet or something or like a graph. It's kind of disappointing, not gonna lie. Like all these months, like I should have seen scores of stuff. But yeah. Another thing that's really interesting is that if you go on LinkedIn and X, what I often see a lot is not people posting like, hey, I do this. This is what I did. Here's a project I did. You see a lot of courses like how to be this. This is how I taught this person to do this. Sign up for this course to do that. All of them, of course, relating to data analysis or business intelligence analysis. Nothing about actual people being actual business intelligence analysts or data analysts or whatever. So that's something that I found interesting. But that's essentially it. Really I just need to keep going and just keep making improvements. Just don't stop. That's really it. I have never been good at anything in my life. I've never been exceptional at anything in my life. Yet, funny enough, I truly believe that if you keep practicing at something, keep training, Have every session be intentional practice, always reviewing and reflecting and analyzing your work or what you've done, making adjustments for the next time. I truly believe that if you do that, if you do that, you can be exceptional at anything. Truly. It may take years or whatnot, but that's what I believe. So we'll go like that. Oh, I'll mark the next one. The next point I have, start using AI to speed up processes. And I say, AKA, get with the fucking program. And the reason why I say that is because, oh jeez, I thought I stopped recording for a second. But the reason why I say that is because, let me check some more. Oh wow. But the reason I say that is because we all use AI. The world has changed once again drastically. But I always feel like I'm behind with how people actually use AI. Like recently, as you know, I've started to use AI, as I just told you earlier. I am using AI to create my text for my videos. But I'm sure I could also use AI to cut out the parts that have just absolutely no sound, or have like no sound to like a certain decibel level. And it's like when you don't know what to ask. It's kind of like that. I don't know the aspects of my life that I can use AI in. And, well, I just feel behind. I'm sure there's many ways I can use AI. I've heard of using AI to start businesses. I guess the one way that I'm using AI is that I'm using AI to, it's basically like my guide in life, my Abe Fadia. But one thing is really helpful at useful for is reflection. Like if something happens to me, I can reflect on it, but then I can also reflect on it and share my ideas. And the thing about AI is that, especially ChatGPT, AI is a global AI is this global system that has recorded data and patterns from billions of humans across the world. And through that, they can formulate an understanding of, I guess, humanity, if you will. Now, I don't know if I explained this properly to you, but when you realize just how much AI has, especially on people, it's like, well, of course, there's no way, it's unrealistic to think that people are not trying to get everything out of this data that they can. This is huge. I've talking I've spoken to AI. I just asked, like, what are some of the biggest life lessons that people don't learn? Number one, change your environment. Number one, if you want to change who you are, if you want to do all these things, you have to change your environment. That includes people you talk to and whatnot, especially the people you talk to. Now I just happen to be so lucky I moved to Japan. I kind of knew this instinctively. I think we all do. We've all heard you're the sum of the 5 people you're around with the most. I guess in my case, I've already spoken about this before on this channel, but in my case, it was like, okay, I can't find anyone that will basically want to live the way I want to live. Especially my friends, they have fun and whatnot. But for me, I was like, okay, if I can't find people, I guess, to influence me positively, then the next best thing would to be influenced by no one. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, but AI usage. I guess the one thing that really concerns me is I don't know what I'm missing. I'm sure I'm missing so much. And I'm sure I could speed up like so many things because speed is like what rules this world. Blitzkrieg, if you will. Speed is important. AI is basically speed and a database of human knowledge and whatnot. But that's pretty much it. Yeah. Now the next point I have is I'm smelling like some good food outside. But the next point I have is new test for Japanese learning. Now I said new test, but it's more like a new method. Essentially what this is. Actually, you know what? We're gonna have a little intermission. Because I want to get some coffee. So I'm gonna make some coffee. Which I actually need to buy more beans. It's crazy how much coffee I'm going through. Like 3 cups a day at least. Oh, my legs. No, I just wish one day I had like an actual operation going, so I could. I guess I'll be back. Just flying through these coffee beans. Just flying through these coffee beans. Anyways, I will actually take this time to take a little intermission. So I'll just talk about something while I try to move it away from the camera. Sorry, the microphone. But... So here's the thing. Lately on the internet, of course, I watched the Andy Cole guy, and he said something that's interesting. I mean, this is like the first time I really heard this. He says that, people think you need to be good at something, like make money. So of course, in my case, it would be the business intelligence analyst. And it's true. If you're skillful and exceptionally skillful at solving X problem, then you will be paid well. But he said, what people actually need to know is, what people need to actually get good at is knowing how to make money. Like, now I'm saying this, I'm not saying this like I'm some expert. I'm saying this as in I'm just repeating what I've heard, but it's very interesting what I've heard. It's something I really want to ponder on and analyze and whatnot. I need to understand the mindset of this. There's another thing, there's many things I've heard. But, I mean, this is something that I kind of understand. The idea that we're like, I don't know if I can say this. We're like, we'll just say sharecroppers is more accurate, to be honest. We're like sharecroppers. I think money, we all know that money kind of just flows. Like, money like flows around the world. You need money, but you need to be part of that flow. And most of us are like on the very outskirts of the flow. So we get like a droplet, like a water droplet that kind of just like splashes around. But then that droplet is easily just sucked back into the flow, right? Because you can't exactly just hold on to it. It's going somewhere, whether you like it or not. I guess if I had to give an image, it's like we're on the outside by the grass, the dry grass. And like it's almost like the further you in you are to the river, you get more water. You just simply have more water. Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. That's the first in my life. I don't even think I did that when I was a baby, but that's why I need the coffee. But it's like, actually, I'll let the coffee brew while I talk. Anyways. Anyways. But yeah, you just need to be part of that flow. But the idea that we're all like sharecroppers is like, if I think of my warehouse job, I get paid a set range for my hours of the day. While at the same time, I'm handling material that is easily hundreds and thousands of dollars. That was something that annoyed me working at that place. Doesn't matter how much we work, we get paid this set amount. And then at the same time, with that set amount, full time, by the way, full time job. Full time job. And on top of that, we'd get called like mandatory 10-hour shifts. But there will be times where, no, I just started speaking without thinking. But essentially, oh, don't forget to drink your water, by the way. Like, I drink coffee because it keeps me crazy and insane. It blocks the adenosine receptors, of course. But you need water to stay up. That's like one of the real things that actually keeps you awake. But it's like you're receiving a fixed income, but then you have this, you have that, you have that. It's not that you're a slave to your job exactly. It's like you're, let's say, screw it. It's more like you're a slave to like do you call that? The economy, society. Essentially, more things are taking your money than you can receive. And you think of like the people at the very top of your company, they're profiting off of your work. Essentially, how it is. I think part of that realization is why I was like, even if I'm working in like a job that pays 100K a year or 200K a year, you're still like part of that system. You just have more. You're just holding on to more money, essentially. And then there was like a final thing. I think I forgot. Lovely. But let me think. Another another thing I want to talk about. Another thing I want to talk about. I swear it's something else. It's not that you're a slave, and it's not the other point. I'll get back to it if I remember. Now the next point is, I don't know if I already said everything I want to with AI. But the next point I have here is new test for Japanese learning. Now, this was actually an idea I had like just out of the blue. Not out of the blue, but I don't know what caused it. But essentially here it is. I was thinking that I need to get back into my Japanese learning. And I think that this one thing I just created is probably the ultimate Japanese learning method. It's the ultimate Japanese learning method if you do it correctly. This will train your active recall, vocabulary, speaking, grammar, pretty much damn near everything, right? And what this is, it's not simply, but it's simply conversation. Japanese conversation. But it's not just Japanese conversation. You also need to record the conversation. I thought that was in some room. You also need to record the conversation. Sweet sounds. But it'll be something like this. You record the conversation, whether it's with you or with someone else or AI. You record the conversation. You have the conversation. You just answer the questions or respond the best you can with what you know. But also hold on to that idea of what you're trying to say, right? Once the conversation's over with, you take the recording and you review. So you go, okay. Oh, this is what they said. Oh, this word means this. Okay, yeah. This verb form is that. Okay, yeah. And then you take what you said, and then take what you were trying to say, and learn how to say what you were trying to say. And then I believe after that you need like some type of reinforcement practice. It's still in the works. I don't have all the details fleshed out. I've yet to try it, so I've yet to see how effective it could be. But I believe that this will probably be one of the most efficient ways of learning that I can have. So that's pretty much it. On the side note, I do have to get back into studying kanji daily because we're getting to a point where there's just too much kanji. Now, this next point is something that I've kind of been developing myself. It's like a desire that has been developing within me. And lately, I just want to test. I just want real world feedback. I just want to try something, fail or whatever, get feedback, or analyze, learn, try again. I just want to keep doing that. I've spoken about this before, but what I want to do is I want to be someone that understands reality. I want to be taught by reality. I didn't go to college. My college is the real world. the ultimate teacher, as we know, is life. And I am hungry to learn. So that's essentially it. Now, this next point I have is return to articulation practice. Now, obviously, I guess as you've been watching this video, I haven't really done that. But I need ways to just like passively incorporate into my life, just little by little, little by little. After that, we have forming the mind. Yes, yes. Forming the mind. So, pretty self explanatory who you're going to be. Not just who you're going to be, but, well, I think we all have a vision of who we'd like to be. There is a mindset that is required and needed for these things. Let me actually move up. And it is important to remain steady and hold onto that vision. And you need, I believe that before anything else, you need to decide who you're going to be. I remember when I moved to Japan, I kind of had this spin-off of what I guess would be your white girl equivalent of, oh, I'm going to college to find myself. But I would say that I am going to Japan to define myself. That's something more accurate. I guess you need to understand and decide how you're going to live your life, the principles you hold, and whatnot. That's all I have to say for that. This one's interesting. Let me get my coffee real quick. My hamstrings are sore. Sweet. Anyways, so this next point I have is on the impossible man. And we spoke about this, I believe, perhaps in the last video. Video before that? Yeah. Week 12, we spoke about the impossible man. Now, of course, he's called the impossible man. And I was thinking to myself, well, I believe I was on the train, just leaning against the wall. I was thinking to myself, if you can't be the impossible man, then what would be the next best thing? And I sat there, stood there, just thinking, pondering. What would be the next best thing to the impossible man? And then it hit me. If you cannot be someone that never sleeps, if you cannot be someone that remains perfectly steady, consistent, and whatnot, if you cannot be someone that maintains all these things and has the strongest mindset, could be someone that sees positive in all the terrible, or whatever, endures all situations. I thought to myself, if you can't be the impossible man, then the next best thing would be absolutely psychotic. Now, of course, what I mean by this, I don't think I could really explain it anymore. Like, if I slept 2 hours a day, I just kept moving. If I kept getting hit, like you know that movie, what was it, Spider-Man Far From Home or whatever? Where like Spider-Man is just like punching Green Goblin and he's just laughing and laughing. Like you gotta be like that psychotic. That's what you gotta be. That's the image. So now, can you make yourself psychotic? That is to be determined. But can you also determine who you want to be? Well, yes, you can. So we'll see. This last point I have is hunger for test and feedback, but I believe I already mentioned that with learning how to be realistic and whatnot. So I have no complaints with how I guess short this has been. This has been 45 minutes. I gotta get back to spreadsheets and all that stuff. Everyone, have a good week. Whatever. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. So.